Yesterday, we saw the most perfect team performance under Maresca this season as we absolutely demolished Aston Villa in a 3-0 win. So today, my friends, I'm here to discuss the 5 key things we learned against Aston Villa, and I'll be breaking down the transformed Cucurella, inverted Caicedo, King Cole Palmer, plus a ton of big things we learned. So hit that like button if you guys are loving life at the football club right now. Go crazy with it, share your thoughts and opinions, and let's get straight into things. But the first thing we've learned is Marc Cucurella, currently on form, the best left back in Europe. Now, that's a very fair argument at this point in time, and it's kind of crazy that already Cucurella is being discussed in that manner. That says quite a lot about the transformation that he has made over the last 12 months. Near the end of last season, we saw small signs of life that Cucurella was finally finding good form. He then went up another gear by taking that form to the Euros and arguably being the best defender in that tournament, playing the match-winning assist to seal the Euros for Spain against England. And since then, this guy has not looked back since. He's found his confidence, he has the faith and support of the manager and his teammates, and finally the fans. And his transformation is a reminder that not only for you guys, but for myself as well, that maybe we need to have more patience and grace with players. So the last time that I was completely surprised by a player's transformation was actually Antonio Rudiger. And near the end, Rudiger was like one of my favorite players at the football club. And I feel like Cucurella at the moment is kind of reminding me of that transformation that we originally saw under Antonio Rudiger. Against Aston Villa, he played the beautiful assist to kickstart the first goal against them, and it was that typical La Masia first time, low different cross, which is played at the perfect pace and tempo, which constantly allows for his teammates to take shots first time. That's a great quality ball. Against Aston Villa, he won 4 out of 6 ground duels. 4 tackles, the most out of any player, 2 clearances, my lord, 129 touches of the ball, 107 out of 111 passes played. It's actually insane how much ground he covers playing box to box, but the thing that is really standing out about Cucurella's game is just how intelligent he is as a football player. Now that he has more license to operate as that inverted style defender, or now that he gets to play with license as the wide centre-back who can push forwards, you've really seen how he thinks and how he plays one step ahead against his opponents. And I feel like this role that he now finds himself playing under Maresca, this role fully complements the best qualities of Cucurella, and that's his support play. You constantly see how he times himself as a passing outlet for his teammates, how he arrives into spaces, his timing of when to underlap and overlap. He's not getting caught on the ball. He's not getting dispossessed easily. A lot of his touches are pass and go. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that he is constantly playing with his head up. He sees the entirety of the field. And when you have a player that thinks like that, matched with the engine he has, you have a very special player. And it's no surprise why all of his teammates right now absolutely love him. I think he's definitely made strides with his one-on-one defensive game. Definitely made big strides in that department, but I feel like playing this role, which allows him the license to defend proactively, you know, to close down spaces, to stop the next counter-attack, the next move. This is where you see Cucurella excelling from a defensive point of view, and I guess it's no surprise why Guardiola was a big fan of Cucurella, because in that sense, he's becoming a little bit of our very own Gvardiol in the team. So you guys know me. If you play well, I don't have agendas, I don't have bias. I just want to see you play well, and I want to know that you're good enough for us. And I think Cucurella right now has proven all of us wrong, including myself. Well done to him. Now I'm going to ask you guys, do you think currently Cucurella is the best left back in Europe right now? Now for the second thing we've learned, I think it's safe to say Enzo Fernandez really is a number 8. Now, there's been many debates over the last 2 seasons in regards to Enzo Fernandez and him being used in the wrong manner. We've seen many arguments point to the fact that Enzo's passing strengths and ability to dictate the game and play should call for him to play as a regista or a deep line playmaker. And listen, there's an argument that if we built the team a bit differently, Enzo probably could excel in that role. But a few small minority of us constantly kept saying, Enzo is more than just a deep line playmaker. Enzo can play as a box-to-box midfield player, but most importantly, Enzo can become a great box-to-box mid. We saw small signs of this last season, most notably with his performance against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, where he scored a magnificent long-range free kick. For the last month now, Enzo is showing that he is the real deal, and his performance is justified by Maresca feels like he is the best balanced mid we have that can combine offensive duties with defensive duties. I can't believe I said booties. Defensive duties in his own half as well. Why does Enzo finally make sense playing as an 8? Well, he can finally trust his body again. Last season, his whole season was affected by niggles, by playing through pain, and also quite clearly with his personal life as well. This season, he's found clarity in everything from his body to his health to his own personal life. And it's no surprise that when you tick all these boxes, you start to see that reflected by the players' performances on that field. Right now, Enzo is showing that he is the real deal, and he's showing that yes, he actually does possess some goal threat. I have to say his finish against Aston Villa probably was the best finish I've seen from Enzo Fernandez, because it really just came full circle to many criticisms that I've had in Enzo's game. I can't say many, that's too critical, but the main criticism I have had is that Enzo doesn't know how to time himself in the opposition box. Now, last season, he had many chances to score goals, but he was never able to take advantage of them. And a lot of that came from the fact that he never quite set his body up properly to take shots as he entered spaces. And he tended to lose a lot of composure when he found himself with great opportunities inside the opposition's box. But the reason why I never gave up on Enzo Fernandez simply comes down to the fact that at least he found himself in these moments. If he never found himself in goal-scoring opportunities, that would tell me straight away, I don't think 8 is the best use of Fernandez. But already this past month, we are seeing signs of progress, development and improvement. And I think that goal against Aston Villa really typifies the great form and improvements we're seeing in Enzo. I mean, to arrive in the box then, to set himself up with the shot and to take it quickly with a Cucurella outside the boot shot, that was a masterful finish, and that's a finish Frank Lampard would have been very proud of. Enzo was showing that he can affect the game, not just on the ball, but as I've been saying, off the ball. But if I was to end things with my minor criticism in this game, Enzo, bro, bring back the Cucurellas, man. You were pumping them for fun when you first came in. We ain't seeing it as often. Please bring that back in your game. But the third thing we've learned, I have to talk about Moises Caicedo, because without a doubt, he has been one of the revelations of 2024. Since the start of the new year, he's only been slowly finding himself, and his form has been getting month by month, and right now, he's about to end 2024 as one of the best midfield players in the Premier League right now. And that is an amazing transformation we're seeing from him, considering his tough start and quite difficult debut season here. Yesterday against Aston Villa, we finally saw Maresca test Caicedo out in a role and position that a lot of us have been theorizing for a very long time. And we finally saw Caicedo unleash as a right back with inverted duties. And boy, was this guy an absolute breath of fresh air. And I have to say, he was the heartbeat of the team. He was the one that gave us the agency, the aggression, that set the tempo. And this is what Moises Caicedo does and brings to football teams. Absolutely dominated Aston Villa. The heat maps, hot red zones down the entirety of the right side of that midfield. He was constantly moving into a pivot alongside Lavia to help progression. He was entering spaces for fun time and time again. This is why Maresca loves to use inverted fullback options, because they move into spaces unmarked. Now, Malo Gusto tactically, I have to say he was fulfilling the role. The only issue was he had zero end products and quality when he found himself advanced up the field. But with Moises, you do not lack that quality whatsoever. And yesterday, he played the most key passes out of any Chelsea player against Aston Villa, playing three key passes by constantly finding himself arriving into spaces in Villa's half. I've been making this comparison since the day we signed him, but I've always felt like if there's one player that reminds me of Michael Essien, it is Moises Caicedo. And the reason why he reminds me of him is that they can kind of do everything in midfield. They can dictate the play. They have shot quality outside the box. They can help progress the ball and facilitate play. They can break up the play. They can combine. They can switch balls. They can kind of do everything in midfield. And this is why he was the heartbeat in the team for us yesterday. He won 3 out of 5 ground duels yesterday, and every single tackle he made was in Aston Villa's half. He was breaking the play up, stopping the next counter-attack against us, forcing errors in their half to kickstart counter plays for us, and he played a big part in disrupting Tielemans' game. I wouldn't say nullifying it because he wasn't tasked to man-mark him throughout the game. Tielemans still played 4 key passes against us, but boy was Tielemans feeling that pressure and heat on him whenever Caicedo had the license and opportunity to win balls in Villa's half. I mean, it's ridiculous that not only does he have the technical capacity, but he has the mental capacity too. He's made big strides in terms of his confidence, his temperament. I feel like there's more levels he can reach, especially with how he affects the game with goals outside the box. And I do think at times his tackling can go up to maybe another level if he just orientates his body in the right positions to just maybe minimize some of the fouls that he gives away. But these are very workable things that you can improve upon. And currently we're seeing this perfect mixture of physicality, technical play, temperament and mentality, and decision making, because every time this guy was on the ball, he plays the right pass at the right time. He was at the heart of every move that we kickstarted against Aston Villa, with his passes between the lines, with his passes played to the right feet of his teammates. There's just so many great details to his game. And as I said last season, I felt like Gallagher was kind of playing the role we're seeing Caicedo do currently this season without really getting the credit that he deserved. And when it was obvious that Gallagher would be leaving us, I said, listen, we're seeing great form in Caicedo as the season's ending, but Caicedo now has to become our new general, our new commander. And I have to say, this guy has stepped up perfectly. And honestly, we aren't feeling the loss of Conor Gallagher. And that is absolute testament to the form we are currently seeing for Moises Caicedo. For the fourth thing we've learned, do we have a bit of a winger dilemma? Now hear me out first, it's not maybe the best title for this fourth point, but yesterday, not only was it a showcase for the quality we have, it was a showcase for the depth and quality we have out wide. We saw Sancho, Neto, Madueke come on and affect the game in their own unique manners, and I feel like it's great that Maresca has this assortment of wingers that can provide different opportunities and possibilities for the team depending on the opposition that we are currently playing against. In that sense, it made sense for Sancho to start the game holding the width down that left-hand side. Now, the benefit of having Sancho holding the width there is that you need someone who has the quality to keep possession of the ball, combine with teammates, and hold that width if you're going to allow Palmer and Enzo Fernandez to have the license to move into the box to get onto balls. In that sense, on the left-hand side, Sancho facilitates play. He is the supportive player that is needed to help the tactical balance of this team. And I thought he was just very professional and very good. Now, I feel like at times the Sancho I saw at Dortmund, the Sancho had the license to roam between the lines. You know, him and Guerrero had an amazing partnership down that left-hand side. It allows Sancho to demonstrate the goal threat that he possesses. We aren't seeing that right now, but I feel like if there's anything I've learned this season, have patience. As long as he's performing what he has to do tactically for the team, that's all that really matters. Starting the game down the opposite flank was Pedro Neto, and he's the best counterbalance because he brought the directness against Digne, winning 3 out of 4 dribbles against him, and he demonstrated some very lovely crosses with his in-swingers as he cut inside using his left foot. It's a shame that we don't necessarily have the players to take full advantage of some of these moments. It will come in time, I'm sure, but Neto currently is the best balanced winger that Maresca has, because he brings those different possibilities, playing down the left flank and playing down the right flank. And finally, we saw Noni Madueke entering the game for the final 20 minutes, and he produced the assist for Cole Palmer, and he forced a shot on goal. And Noni Madueke is the goal-scoring winger that Maresca turns to. He has the most shots out of all our other wingers. He knows how to arrive and enter into spaces, but I think one of the best things about Noni is his relationship he has with Cole Palmer. Since the end of last season, I've been constantly praising the ability that these guys show when they play together, and statistically, they are the best partnership in the Premier League. In 39 games that they've both played together, Cole Palmer scored 26 goals, got 14 assists. Noni scored 11 goals and got 4 assists. Madueke has assisted Cole Palmer 6 times in those games, and Palmer's assisted Noni just once. They have a great understanding of each other's game. There's a great balance to how they play. And when Noni was under fire and getting, I felt like unfairly criticized at times, getting a bit of the Willian treatment I was noticing, we can't forget that he didn't have the fortune to be playing down the right-hand side with Cole Palmer. Yesterday against Villa, that was the first time in 1 month we saw Cole Palmer play in the right half space, playing in his best position. And this is why we saw the third goal that was scored that really solidified the domination against Aston Villa. And it's the small details and moments. I thought Noni Madueke, of course, he has 2 Villa players on him. You know, he just disguised that pass by playing a pass that took the pressure off the ball. It kind of fooled all of Aston Villa's organisation. And he did that with a little dummy pass then to find Cole Palmer. It's those little undefendable details which makes their partnership that strong, that good. There's a great balanced repertoire between them. And it's no surprise that whenever Palmer scores, one of the first guys he constantly goes to is Noni Madueke. For me, this is why Madueke probably edges it out of all the other right wingers currently right now, until maybe Aston Villa comes in to take his place. But honestly, I think this is a perfect problem for Maresca to have, because he has all the right wingers he needs at his disposal against any type of opposition we're set to play against. And obviously, to end things, I can't end things without quickly discussing King Cole Palmer. Is it safe to say that yesterday was the Cole Palmer show? 1 assist, 1 beautiful goal, 2 key passes, 40 touches, 27 out of 30 passes played, and most importantly, 4 out of 4 long balls played. He was connecting the field, finding man, creating the overloads, and yesterday was a brilliant reminder of what Cole Palmer's about. And I have to quickly say, I gotta give a quick shout out to the boards for yet again deciding to take the punt on Enzo Maresca, because it makes even more sense in hindsight now that you target a manager that was the one to really put guys like Palmer, Lavia and Co on the map. And now he's working with these guys on a day-to-day basis. You've created the perfect environment for Cole Palmer to continue the form that he left off from last season. So that, again, that was another masterful decision. One of the things that I really love about Cole Palmer is that he is a very hard player to come up against, because he just knows how to move on that field. For the assist he got, you know, he was about to make a run through Aston Villa's defensive line before dropping deep then. Enzo Fernandez plays it to him. Enzo always looks to find Cole Palmer. I think we saw that when Cole Palmer scored the 4th goal against Manchester United right near the end. And Palmer, of course, was finally rewarded with these really beautiful, low-driven passes that he's been playing a lot recently, you know, especially against Leicester City. And he finally got an assist from finding that pass to Enzo Fernandez. You could tell that Cole was hungry to score against Aston Villa. He got his rewards near the end, right near the end of the game, and he got this by ghosting in behind Aston Villa's midfield lines. And yeah, 1 touch to set himself up for the shot, and then the perfect technique with the curler. And I was saying last season, I want to see Palmer show more of that curling techers that I know this guy definitely has. But yeah, the dominance from Palmer continues. It's a shame that he's not playing Champions League right now, but if this season continues how it's going, yeah, this guy will be having a lot of fun in Europe next season. At this point, what do I say about Cole Palmer that we don't already know at the moment? But if he keeps this up for consecutive seasons, I don't think it's going to be too long until there's conversations around him entering the Chelsea Hall of Fame or best ever 11s very soon. So my friends, that's all the 5 things we learned against Aston Villa. Not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun making this video in particular. Right now, I'm excited for every single game that we have. I'm really excited for December, and I hope you guys are gonna be excited with me on BlueLionsTV this month. So I hope you guys enjoy, hit that like button, and I'll see you all very soon. Cool.